Big guy, bald head.
Better boss.
Yeah. I think it is man. I saw him the other day.
Better boss.
Oh, Andrew,
Hey, how you doing?
good. We'll go ahead and get the meeting on the road. Welcome everyone to February 17th, 7 p.m. meeting. Just got off the phone with Doug. He's optimistic about coming home. But I don't know if you guys, anyone's on Facebook, his brother and sister has put some pictures of him to let the community know. But anyhow, he's got recovery from a spot they had taken off of his forehead and had to do skin grafting in 2 locations. But anyway, Doug is, our treasurer, and he's not with us tonight because he's in the hospital recovering. So if you choose to pray and you'd like to pray with us, Jim, would you lead us in a word of prayer?
Father God in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to come and meet tonight. And we ask for your wisdom as we always do. The decisions we make, and we pray that those decisions will be the best. We ask you to be with Doug as he's recovering from his cancer surgery, and just be with him and his family and bring him back to health and mend him completely so he can get back to work. Father, anybody else in the county that's suffering from illnesses or disease or loss of life, family members, please be with them and comfort them the best you can. Just be with the county and with the flooding we've had, and we pray that we'll all get back to normal. With the state, with flooding and the loss of life, probably just be with those families that have lost loved ones in this flooding issue. Father, we ask you to be with us and guide us and direct us. Yes, in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. If you would, join me and salute our flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for that. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Squire Stone.
Here.
Squire Ferris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Cochran.
Here. All right, everyone is here. Next is approval of the minutes, and then we have some post-executive minutes. Hope folks got them emailed. Pretty simple, but so at this time we'll open the floor for a motion on the minutes. Go ahead, Jim.
I've got some changes and additions. You want to do that first, or you want to do that motion?
But I mean, if you want to suggest changes, then we'll do those, and then if you choose to move them, then we'll go from there.
Okay, on page 3 of the minutes, 4th line down from the top. It may be page 2. I got 2 at the top and 3 at the bottom. I'm not sure what you got.
Yeah, let's go by the bottom one.
Okay, 3 on the bottom. Fourth sentence down, it says, she agreed completely with that, was written in the regulations. Start there and omit the rest of that whole paragraph down to communications with county judge. Please just chit chat.
I'm sorry, where are we at?
4th line down from the top, on page 3.
I just got the numbers at the top.
The number at the top should be 2.
Okay, I follow you now. If you look over, the page starts citizen about an issue that was coming, all right. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4th sentence, see the word she? So, all right,
Start at she,
start at she.
and omit that rest of that entire paragraph. Down to where it says E, communication from the judge.
Okay.
All right, then under communication with the judge, on number 1, 4th sentence down, it says they were certain that these will last no days, ice events, blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Start there and omit the rest of that paragraph down to new business.
Starting with Dave.
starting with the word they,
They,
all right,
they were certain,
all right.
okay? I've got, Lynn, I've got copies of the changes I'm gonna give to you. But, anyway, under new business, under number 1, third sentence down, she said that she and the other occupational tax collectors omit that paragraph all the way over to page 3.
Yeah, 3 at the top, so we 4 at the bottom.
4 at the bottom.
So the remainder of the page from she, the remainder of page 3, correct?
Page 3, where it says, she said,
Correct.
The rest of the page?
just that page, and then on the back sheet, page 4, the rest of that paragraph.
Ending with the word continued,
Right,
all right?
all right. On page 5,
5 at the bottom,
down the middle of the page, right there, we've got the blank.
where the word to is there.
The word to, you might want to correct that space there, I don't know, it's typo.
Sure.
And where it says, versus he wanted to share with them,
Starting there, if you wanted to share.
he wanted to share with them,
Uh-huh.
get their thoughts, starting there. The rest of that paragraph down to recycling, omit that,
Delete to recycling grant.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
On page 5, under recycling grant, 4th sentence down, in the middle of the page, it says, the judge told them to think about where everyone shops.
Start there.
See that?
Yep.
Nope, not yet.
All right, 4th sentence down, under recycling grant.
Sorry, I got ahead of you.
That's fine. The judge told them to think about where everyone shops.
Okay.
On that, rest of that page. And over on page 6, the first 2 words there, action taken, which is the last of that paragraph. Okay, page 6, under pavilion report, 4th sentence down. This is the typo. It says, Esquire Eldridge asked if he was looking to get bids, to get bids. To get bids off. To get bids, leave one of them off, it's got 2 of them on it. See that?
I see it, but it was there for a reason, because I believe he said to get bids on bids. But if you want it gone, it's gone.
It says to get bids, to get bids. Further down on page 6, under tourism, middle of that paragraph, where it says, he said they were discussing the potential. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6 sentences down, under tourism. He said they were discussing the potential.
Uh-huh.
Omit rest of that paragraph.
Entire, the rest of that page, correct?
Rest of that, and then over on page 7, that continues on, omit that whole paragraph at the top, all the way down to motion made by Esquire Cotton.
All right.
Okay, page 7, down towards the bottom, where it says motion by Esquire Stump died for a lack of second. Like, what was that motion?
This was Julie's wording. I used Julie's wording.
Okay, it says motion by Esquire Stump died from lack of second. What was the motion?
I took it straight from Julie's notes.
Okay, so you don't know?
Nope.
Okay, and I guess on the last sentence of page 7, vote to approve the amendment. It said 2 opposed. Who were those who opposed?
I have to go back and look.
Okay,
Well,
I'm
in
really
the,
happy to review it.
I think it was Mike and Dan, if you
I
want
mean,
to question it.
yeah, I mean, we can get the bottom of that right now.
Corey might help here, since we officially did a voice vote, it was approved or disapproved by a voice vote. So it could easily just say it passed with a voice vote.
So apparently they don't care.
okay.
Well, I mean, I'm suggesting that it could say that.
I don't, well, if you do a voice vote, you just probably just say pass by majority. you know,
We'll pass by a majority voice vote.
yeah, that's how it should read if you're gonna do the voice vote. Which I think it's what we did.
Yeah, we did voice votes on those.
Okay. And then on page 8, same thing on the second sentence, motion amended to allow.
Majority of voting members voting members present approving, but
We would just say voice votes pass 4-2.
Well, if it's a voice vote though, you're not counting.
You're not supposed to count.
It's a majority of what's said.
Yeah.
Okay. And on page 13 at the bottom,
Hold on a second. On that one right there, we'll be okay with it. If it says motion carried, comma, with 2 opposed. What if we just said motion carried, period? Is that okay with you, man?
Well, if we do that, it really should say voice votes.
It wasn't a voice vote.
Yeah, these all voice
We
votes.
called the roll.
Well, I thought we voice voted all of these. If we called the roll, then it should say, you know, the minute should say that the method of voting. I was thinking we
Okay,
did
yeah,
voice
it
votes.
was. It was.
I'm gonna say you just thought the motion carried, it covers all of it.
Well, it could. I mean, you're going back to your memory of FFA like me, and, you know, there's several forms of voting, and voice vote is one, roll call is one, secret ballot is one, you know,
Yeah.
so,
Raise your hand, count them, you know.
Right.
one,
but anyhow, I mean, if it,
but I would say, no matter what vote, whatever, means of.
right, vote to approve the amendment and the motion carried, you know, you don't have to put the 2 opposed.
That's what I'm saying. I don't-
Yeah.
You know, that way, you just kind of get rid of
Well,
all
what
of
should I say?
if we're going with the voice vote, majority of voting members voting.
Yeah.
And approval work.
Because, I mean, a voice vote is just a call. You know, it's basically the call of the chair that, who got the most votes. So,
Tell them what you want to say.
The majority of majority of present members voting to approve.
yeah, well, that's what motion carried means.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting
Sorry,
at.
Corey.
I know, specifying the voice vote though, I mean, if we're gonna quibble over it, we can have further clarity, but.
You know, I
Our
mean,
equivalent's just getting started.
you good if we strike with 2 opposed? Since 2 opposed would actually be a count.
I'm not a voting member, I don't see,
Okay.
I don't see any reason to.
They're your minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I know. So, all right, let's, I suggest then, Jim, if you may, we'll strike out the word with 2 opposed.
it's fine.
And then on the next page, the one that failed, that said that with 4 opposed, we need to strike with 4 opposed. You see, that one failed. Motion failed with 4 opposed, so we should strike 4 opposed. And then the next one passed with 2 opposed, so we just strike out 2 opposed. And then on the very last one, strike out 2 opposed.
Yeah, I think that's a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Okay, page 13. Last paragraph,
You going top or bottom numbers, I forgot.
bottom. 13 at the bottom. Last paragraph down there, where it's talking about Mr. White. 4th sentence down from the bottom, 4th up from the bottom, you got Mr. Height instead of Mr. White. It's a typo. See that one?
Yeah. Oh, I do.
Okay, on page 15. 4 sentences down from the top, another typo. It says he wanted their approval for high, it should be him. Got that one?
Yes.
And then the last paragraph on page 16, or 15, halfway down, it says, discussion continued about the scheduled events. Omit the rest of that paragraph and there down.
From where down? From what word down?
where it says, discussion continued about the scheduling of events.
The rest of that, you want deleted?
Yes, the rest of that paragraph, omit that. On page 16,
Jim, on that paragraph, you want the vote though, with all members of the court present voting aye by voice vote, motion passes.
Yeah, we'll have to leave that in again.
yeah, leave it in. My fault.
Thanks for catching it, Cheryl.
And on page 16, 1, 2, 3, 4 sentence down to the top, Esquire Cotton remarked that he thought they had changed, starting there on that rest of that sentence down too. Motion made by Judge Stratus.
All right. So you make a motion to approve the, go ahead, Mike.
I guess it'd be page 14, 13 at the top, 14 at the bottom. In between the two attachments, Judge said he wanted to wait, if they were okay, until Robert was there to talk about it. That's fine, we'll strike all the rest of the wording in between there. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, okay, all the way down, and then we'll start again with number 3. Yeah, okay.
That's all I had.
All right, so I entertain a motion, go ahead, Zach.
At the very beginning there, I want to strike, that approval minutes from the prior court meetings. I want to strike the judge. One of the following deletions from the minutes from the 21 meeting. Delete that all the way down to where it just says motion by who coach to approve the minutes.
What was that page?
The very first page.
Well, page 2 at the bottom.
Page 2 at the bottom?
Yeah.
All right, where it's under leave C, and then the judge wanted the deletions, and then has,
That 1 through 16, delete all that all the way down to motion made by the judge Travis to approve the minutes.
yeah, with the corrections and deletions. Let's see, approve the minutes meeting with his deletions. So, all right, any other discussion on the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve them with the deletions that were discussed.
Motion approved.
All right, have a motion by Mike, I'll second it, to approve the minutes with the deletions that we discussed. Any discussion, more discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jim.
I would like for, once the clerk makes the corrections on these minutes, I think the court needs to see those corrections before they're recorded.
We used to have a process in place for that. If you will bear with me, I'd like to explain it to you.
Go ahead.
When you, this court, had corrections to be made, I would make those corrections, I would send the minutes over to the judge's office, he would review them, he would sign off on the minutes, send them back to my office, I would sign off on them, then they would be recorded, then they'd go back to his office to be put on the website. He no longer signs off on the fiscal court minutes at all. So I don't know if he sees them, if he doesn't see them, you know, so they're gonna get recorded. You don't want me to mention the deletions you want made in the minutes, correct?
Correct.
You just want them
Deleted.
deleted. Okay.
Yeah, but like I say, when you send those minutes over to the judge's office, with the corrections, I think the court needs to see that copy of the completed, you know, before the recording. So,
Copy everybody.
They go to his office.
Copy,
There's-
copy when you send it, please. Is that hard?
I send a hard copy to you, Judge, when the corrections are made. They sit in your office,
Well, it depends on when you send them.
right?
Sometimes I get them early, sometimes, generally, someone brings them over before lunch. Sometimes it's Thursday, sometimes it's Wednesday. You
But
agree?
is there a reason that they can't
Different
get them
days.
from your office?
Well, by that time, and that's the next week after we have met, we meet on a Monday, So like the next Thursday, when we've got a snowstorm or a funeral to attend, we get the minutes. And then we're getting packets ready the next day to send out. So it's again, it's the same issue we've
So you
always
think
had.
I'm changing the minutes before I record them, but you're not signing off on it?
Okay, let's kind of go along with Jim's request, and I don't think that that's out of the ordinary at all. When you bring a hard copy, you have them in your system, just email them to us all. Won't that solve the problem?
I would rather not,
Because,
because he has not gotten the minutes before. Jim has not gotten an email with the minutes before. So I'll send a hard copy over. Yes, it's happened before.
Okay, can we, okay,
Well, if your email
you
was
send a
good,
hard
then
copy
I
over to the
fix your
judge's
problem.
office, okay? All right, he's got a copy of it. Let his office make
That's
copies
fine.
and put it in our next meeting so we can review the minutes of 2 weeks prior, before the report.
well, that really gets, we talk about getting convoluted.
It'd be pretty easy to copy 5 other people on the email.
The whole thing is, and I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong or anything, but, you know, there are typos now or this and that in these minutes that we found. There may be some in the recorded minutes also,
There very well may be.
yes. And we're voting to, you know, accept those as the minutes. And there may be some things in there that are not
You
good.
email them to his office? Do they go, they email from you to him?
No, I take a hard.
Our.
Yes.
Okay, from now on, when you bring a hard copy, also email the minutes to the court. Is that a problem?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. I think that'll fix our problem,
Not, well, okay.
because it's like Will just said, it's no issue at all to copy 6 of us, because the minutes belong to the court. The minutes are an accurate reflection of our votes cast and very basic discussion. And very basic discussion is really a loose term. So, all right, we have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? And again, this doesn't include the post-executive session minutes. It's pre-executive session minutes. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now, the post-executive minutes, they're not in my packet, but
They're emailed separately.
they were emailed out separate.
I got one on the Friday.
Anyone have any
I ain't
questions
seen,
about those?
I ain't seen anything.
All right, I entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion by Zach, seconded by Will to approve the post-executive session meeting minutes of the February 3rd. All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, first on the, or next on the agenda is communications from citizens. Before I call on any particular citizen, is there a citizen that would like to address the court? I have a couple I'm going to call on, but does anyone like to address the court? All right. Then next, I have a couple Alpha Ministries. If they're in the audience, please come up. I guess this, this, I've got it under the citizens. I'm trying to change the agenda around where it flows better when we have speakers. So the citizens part is closed. So we have you guys. So you have the floor to discuss, and we will engage.
Well, first of all, thank you all for the opportunity to come and present our hearts with Alpha Ministry Reach Rescue and Store with you guys. Thank you all for coming out and allowing us to share. So, Alpha Ministries Reach Rescue and Restore is the first and only faith-based drug and alcohol recovery resource center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. It started from some conversations that my wife and I had. I actually have been in the recovery field for about the past 8 years after a long battle with addiction myself. I got into the recovery field as a response to a call in my life to help people who were like I used to be in the drug and alcohol world, so to speak. And we're citizens of Shepherdsville. We've lived there for 12 years now. So she would come home because she worked for CASA. She actually worked out here in Spencer County as well as in Shepherdsville, and she would talk with me about the over 400 cases of abuse and neglect in these counties, and as a direct result of drug and or alcohol addiction in the home, where young people have been displaced from their home of origin because of these issues. I have been working in the west end of Louisville in a similar setting, and we had an opportunity to open up Alpha Ministries in a partnership that we have with Pastor James McFadden, who offered us about 9,000 square feet there in Shepherdsville to do what we know God's called us to do in Shepherdsville, and that is help people who are struggling with opioid addiction in our community be restored. So her work with CASA and the relationship we've been able to garner helped us to get the recovery center approved in the city there. Now we're doing the work to reach out to regions that we know are connected with Shepherdsville because we serve basically anybody who is in active addiction that desires for their life to change. So we have a 40-bed recovery center there in Shepherdsville that we just opened recently. We have some residents there already. So we just want to kind of present what our hearts are here to you guys tonight. And what it is, it's a bolder vision for a stronger community. And we've talked about this. And imagine a region freed from the devastating grip of opioid addiction. A community where families heal, individuals reclaim their futures, and opportunity flourishes. Alpha Ministries is ready to turn that vision into a reality. We're not just another recovery program. We're a transformational force offering real solutions, measurable results, and a roadmap to lasting change. And we're here tonight with a proposal as an invitation to invest in a proven high-impact strategy that will create a safer, healthier, and more resilient community. The strategic investment request that we're asking is seeking funding to expand and enhance our comprehensive opioid recovery and prevention efforts, strategically designed to yield the maximum return on the investment that we're giving. And a couple of things I just want to go over as far as what the funding that we're asking for will support. Treatment and recovery expansion, proven, structured, residential, and outpatient programs that empower individuals to break the cycle of addiction. So we are partnered already with a couple of community partners that we have. One of them is Stacy Sylvester. She's the owner of the REACH program. She offers every resident that's going to come into our 6 to 12 month recovery home IOP classes as an extra layer of the recovery. So we offer the faith-based services. We have several curriculums that we're offering on a day-to-day basis for the individuals that come into our home. Some of those being the Living Free curriculum, Celebrate Recovery, and then we have the Most Excellent Way, which takes the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount, and turns them into Christian attitudes. And we teach those curriculums to the men that come into our program. So she offers more of the clinical side, the IOP stuff that is an extra layer of accountability and recovery that she's able to provide with her experience with the IOP courses. Another thing we want to offer is aggressive prevention program, school-based initiatives, faith-driven outreach, and community engagement to stop addiction before it starts. So we came up with the name, and I won't suffer you all the details. I know time is very valuable, and I, again, thank you all for listening to us. But long story short, my wife got this name in a dream, and there's several layers to it. So what our vision is to restore men to the homes as the leaders in their homes, in their communities, on their jobs. And sometimes an alpha male gets a negative connotation, but we're trying to add a positive layer to that to help men be the leaders that God called them to be in their homes, on their job, in their communities, and to help restore that balance of the family unit that we're trying to help restoration happen through Alpha Ministries. Another layer to that goes with the prevention programs and the school-based initiatives is getting kind of like the Big Brother system, getting men that have graduated our program to go into schools, go into places where there is the alpha generation, the generation that's coming up that needs to be, what we say at Alpha Ministry is we need to reach them before we have to rescue them. So we're reaching out to these young folks and trying to educate them even further than they may be educated in their own home, to look for things so that they don't have to go down the roads that maybe their parents and I myself even travel. So we're trying to reach out to them and before we have to rescue them in a program like the one we're offering. Family and child support. So equipping grandparents, relatives, and guardians with the resources that they need to support at-risk children. So what we've added to Alpha Ministries that I didn't have in the 8 years that I was with the other ministry that I was running is my wife is in college for marriage and family therapy counseling. So she is called because she has seen the ugly side of addiction from the family's point of view. If anybody knows anything about addiction, every addict affects at least 9 people around them in their ethos. So if you look at the fact of an addict being in a recovery center, there's 9 other people on an average that their life and life choices and life circumstances are affecting negatively. So what we have at Alpha Ministries is a place, and we've got pictures I'm proud of. I wish we would have brought them so I could show you. But we have a place where men that are in the recovery center, after they reach a certain phase, if they have wives or grandparents or people that they know and love that want an opportunity at restoration, we provide a safe place for them to come on our campus to kind of get that family unit back together to help.
Their children, we want to be able to
Yeah.
provide, restoration for
Yeah.
them with their families as a whole, their children, their spouses. Oftentimes, drugs and alcohol, it separates them from that family unit, and they need help as a whole. It's not just about the individual with the addiction, and that's kind of the different layer that we want to bring to the table, is we want to integrate the health of the family as well.
So as we're kind of helping them reach the earmarks of the recovery system that we have set up and implemented, that we're able to begin that process of reunification. So it's not a kind of a surprise when a man comes home and he's restored and he's going back into an environment trying to get the people to understand what he's been through for the past 6 to 12 months. It's not a surprise when you have the family unit able to be a part of the recovery process. So that's why we thought it very important to kind of integrate that into our recovery system. Also workforce integration, job training, financial education, and transitional housing to ensure sustained recovery and economic self-sufficiency. So the job training, we've already partnered with Mayor Jose in Shepherdsville. We're going to be reaching out to small businesses in the community of Shepherdsville to help partner with second chance opportunities for these men to get back on their feet and regain some of the, a lot of the men that we deal with are very gifted in certain areas. It's just that they had this issue that sidetracked them for whatever they were doing on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of the men that I deal with don't have a problem working. They just have a problem with what they do with the money that they make off of the jobs that they have. So training them in those areas as far as helping them get second chance jobs and helping them be accountable. We've got a relationship with several banks that we partner with to help teach financial literacy as far as how to manage a bank account, how to keep track of your debit and credit card. These financial layers of responsibility that men that are alpha men are supposed to have in their lives, and if they've lost that or they were never trained in that in the first place, Alpha Ministry is part of helping educate these men so that when they do leave, according to 2 Timothy chapter 3, they're fully equipped for every good work, and that's what our goal is for every man to come in for this restoration home.
We have a peer support specialist that is all he is focused on is education, 3 phases of development through the process to get them where they need to be in the system to be able to have jobs and get the education if they want to get their GED. If maybe they don't know what their talent or skill is, and they lost that at childhood or when they started to venture out with their drug and alcohol addiction. So the key of this educational portion is to bring that back to the focus and help them by educating them and getting them the resources that they need in order to have full-time jobs. If they need a degree, be able to provide that resource for them.
In the transitional housing piece, the way our program is set up, we kind of track their phases, and as they get into the last phase of the program, if they have family that is possible for them to be restored to, that's one of the main aspects. If they have court appointments, if they have anything over their head that would be hindering them from graduating and being a productive member of society when it's time for them to go home, these are all things that we want to help cover during that 6 to 12 month process, as I'm saying.
If I could interrupt.
Sure.
I think you've about covered this one particular page, and I kind of like to open it up to the court if they have questions about where we are.
And I didn't know how you all did it.
Okay.
I was gonna start out by saying, please interrupt me if you have a question. 'Cause
Well-
I want everybody here to be educated on what we're doing rather than you all
Right.
hearing me talk.
All right, well, these are just a few that I've jotted down.
Sure.
Now, you don't just do men, you serve both.
So the residential piece is for men right now. Now,
Men only.
we do have a vision to have a residential facility for women. We just don't have the resources to do that right now.
Okay, so how would your program benefit folks in Spencer County, and how do we communicate to our folks that this program exists?
Sure. So right now, we're doing basically referral-only opportunities. So I have been reaching out to churches, getting opportunities to set up at churches to share information. I've literally been setting up at Walmart to pass that information. So as far as Spencer County is concerned, we're open to coming and being a part of whoever would allow us to come and present what we're doing in case they either know a family member that needs help or that they just want the information so that in case they run into someone that can use help. We plan on going to several counties outside of Shepherdsville, so it's not just a Shepherdsville only ministry. We serve Spencer County, obviously, because our heart's with Spencer County. She works here legally, so we're reaching out to the region, not just Spencer County or Shepherdsville.
So you have a campus somewhere that interested parties at a particular date would go and attend
Yes, sir.
some sort of class?
And I would love the opportunity to have anyone who would be interested to set up a tour to kind of come and see what we're doing there, in case they have a family member that wants to come. I know that's a very important piece, to be able to see, lay eyes on what it is that we're doing there in Shepherdsville. But yes,
And right now, we currently, we do work with one of the judges in Bullitt County, so we would love to have that opportunity to do that in Spencer County as well, as far as, I don't know, if like a drug court or, a referral program for people that need the assistance. We would love to have the opportunity to do that here in Spencer County as well. We all go into the jails once a week in Bullitt County to minister to the men, try to get something set up for them when they're going to be released. We would like to do that out here as well. So it's the same thing that we told them in Bullitt County. If you all have someone out here, we want to come and see if the resources that we have can help them.
So and then we've been doing that with our own transportation. Like I went out several times and done, not necessarily interventions, but just informational things to say, hey, listen, if you want help, Alpha Ministries is the place for you. Now, this is the criteria that you have to meet. These are the things you have to be willing to do, because we're unapologetically not a homeless shelter. Like, people aren't going to come and get a flop house night where they stay and get warm and then go back out to live the life they want to live. This is more of an exclusive resort type vibe where you have to be there, be willing to do everything that's being presented, and you have to follow the rules. There's a zero tolerance for drug and alcohol use, and we have layers of accountability to make sure that is something that goes on, and the men that are coming are interested in changing their life. Yes, sir.
Do they stay at their facility?
Yes, sir, it is residential, long-term residential.
And even though,
I think she said 6 to 9.
6 to 12 months, yeah.
6 to 12 months.
yeah,
And how many, go ahead.
Can I- How many people do you have in the program right now?
So right now, we've done a soft opening. We got everything done a little bit ahead of schedule, and it's not completely done, but we were open enough that when people reached out to us through referrals and people that we know, we didn't want to lose them to the grips of addiction. I've done too many funerals. So it's very near and dear to my heart because I've lost a lot of friends in this. Now, it's only by God's grace and mercy that we can stand here. So when people were reaching out saying they wanted help, instead of saying, well, I've got a resource for you, we decided to go ahead and open the facility, do a soft opening. But our lease agreement and our agreement with the pastor at the church that we have the 9,000 square feet to release actually starts on March 1st. So we're officially opening March 1st. We've done a soft opening, and we have 5 residents and 3 peer support specialists that are on staff that live there.
and I know we don't provide residential for women, but we do provide resources. We're more of like a resource hub. So even food insecurities, veterans, he did all of that with the 8 years that he was prior to us opening our own in Shepherdsville. So if there is a woman that's in need, we know the places that we can reach out to provide resources for them, for residential. We have those partnerships.
And the transportation piece, just to mention that, like, if somebody in Spencer County needed the help and I called and talked with them, they had no resources to get to Shepherdville, I would personally come and pick them up.
I think we probably have some questions that we might need to ask our attorney.
Sure.
You know, these are opioid funds and they have specific rules. I've got a little bit of a presentation I'm gonna share with the court here in a minute. Lauren Carr with the opioid settlement advisor with the KCO came and kind of laid out, you know, what we can do with those things. And, you know, there's barrier relief is one thing that, I mean, I'm kind of rolling into whenever I get on there. We can create the response teams, support groups, just a few things. We can have events with opioid funds folks here. We can have events after games. Let's say they have a football game and we had our pavilion built. We could have she called it Friday Night Done Right, where you're trying to create a barrier with the children and our students that are at a ball game. They come to an event where, you know, it's drug and alcohol free, and those things are allowed with opioid funds. So, I mean, I have some questions that, you know, we need to talk with the county attorney about to make sure that these, you know, that what you're doing fits in to the opioids. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am. I'm not ready to recommend or suggest that we invest tonight, but we need to do some more research to make sure it qualifies.
Sure, and I'd love, like I said, answer any questions, give tours, whatever we can do to help further that.
Okay.
We'll open and willing.
Do you have any kind of like literature that you can say, take to the judge's office?
I do. I've got a information packet that we have that we pass out to people. I've got a card with, of course, my name and information on it. We've also got a website that we built. It's am3r.org, and there's a lot of information. There's even some testimonies of people that we've helped get through the recovery. My daughter's even on there because she unfortunately saw all of the stuff that I went through. So she's on there talking, you know, about her life and then her life now because of what the Lord's done in my life as far as seeing me be able to help people. So there's a lot of testimonies on there. I think there's like 6 or 8 testimonies on there, and we're uploading those every day. So there's a lot of information on the website that you can go to and check out.
If you'd like to email all that to my office, sure, over there, you have my email address, okay. But email it and then I'll send it out to the guys here to you know, for information on it. And, because we can only make decisions when we're seated, so.
Yeah.
But that way we could study up on it, Jim, I guess. And if we have interest, we'll invite you back.
Yeah.
After we learn some more legal about it.
Sounds good.
So, all right, y'all have any other questions?
So it says you have a strategic partnership with KIPTA. So what is that, what do they do for you?
So some of these things are things that we have visions to do as far as, like I said, we've just done a soft opening. So we've reached out to them and had contact with them through Brittany Vito, who is a friend of my wife through Casa. So some of these things are things that we haven't actually implemented as of yet, that these are things that we have a vision to implement. So as far as that, I would have to let you know more information on that as we move forward.
Yeah, and I would recommend reaching out through them, and they will advise you, they will actually help advise you as to what we can do.
Right.
Also, because they're the source that 7 counties and 2 counties in Indiana go through. Jim and I are on the board, so we meet every month.
Sure.
But a lot of their efforts are into helping grandparents with children, helping folks with needs, helping people get meals, find housing, transportation. So that is the right place to look, at least for a starting program that you have. So, all right, any other questions? Anybody? Well, we thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for allowing us time.
And, yeah, send that to us.
I'll send the email.
I'll pass it out to everyone.
Thank you guys for the opportunity, we
All
appreciate
right,
it.
thank you all. Catherine Scott.
Seven
Yeah,
copies.
that'd be fine. All right, we can pass them around.
Start a count.
Yeah.
All right, we're passing around the revised budget for the Two Lights for Tomorrow event that I spoke to you folks about the last meeting. I got my budget cemented more, and I have visited the city council, and they approved $750 towards the event. I'm hoping that the fiscal court will match that, and I'm also hoping we won't have to use it all, but just in case, as you said last time, they don't have to come back begging for $15 or whatever we might still need. That's what I revised our ask to, if you would consider that.
So the city gave $750 and we're asking $750 from us?
Yes, sir.
So, can you describe what this is?
Yes, it's a civic event. So, this is an event that is, for lack of a better word, recommended by the Kentucky Historical Society as the initial kickoff to the America 250 project, which is America's 250th birthday celebration in 2026. There's a series of events that will begin later in the spring, this being the first of them, that they would like to imbue cultural appreciation for this upcoming birthday through. So they're asking the committees that handle the America 250 project for each county or organization to create a civic celebration to kick this off. And the civic celebration is a ceremonial lighting of 2 lights for each government main structure. So it would be for the courthouse and for the city annex where they have their meetings. And we would light these lamps and hear some patriotic music and have a small reception to celebrate. And we're trying to get someone to ride by on a horse yelling, "The British are coming!" just to make it really fun. That's part of the idea of the event, is to get some history feeling more real to the young people in our communities.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just curious, we talked about days, because that
Moving
light
the
is
days
coming to the
with
junior
Shakespeare.
side. What-
Yes.
What's work best for y'all, or?
Yes. We are fine with doing the celebratory event right after the Shakespeare.
Right after the Shakespeare, when we already have a bunch of people in town.
Yes, sir, we are fine with that. I did have a longer idea of what to do, but my committee is thinking that we will bore people with an hour's program, so we're gonna cut it down to just to the fun bits of the celebration. But the main part of it, really, I mean, it's always nice to have a party, but the main part of it is a day of civic service, during which we'll be cleaning cemeteries up in the area. One being that belong to the McGee family, and we're having some headstones created and installed. The DAR in Nelson County is, we've put in a proposal for them to pay for the headstone. So we're trying to bring in a lot of different community organizations to make this happen. So civic service and then a celebration.
I'll make a motion that we put tourism $750 for the 2 Lights for Tomorrow already.
Actually, it's not tourism,
So,
it's there isn't tourism. It would be the tourism?
Right,
Okay, my
because
bad.
America 250, that committee is one of tourism's committees.
Okay,
Yeah.
I jumped the gun, I wanted to make sure we had it at the right place. My bad.
I
Second
appreciate
that.
Okay. All right, have a motion by Zach, seconded by Dan, to match the city's donation and give the tourism $750 for the 2 Lights for Tomorrow celebration. Any discussion?
And maybe you could coordinate with, for Shakespeare on Main Street, you know, people, they might have an intermission in the middle, like 30, 45 minutes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Maybe you could just do it right in the middle or something.
It's a 90-minute performance for them. It's a condensed production of Macbeth, so there isn't an intermission. But we're prepared to hop right onto their stage right afterward to
Okay.
to
So
capture
it
the
sounds like
crowd's
you've already
attention.
been coordinating with them.
Mhm. Well, we're working with Main Street on it. That's another partnership there. They're not giving money to it, but they are allowing us to use their stage that they have set up for it.
All right, and that is like, it was April 19th?
April the 19th.
Yeah, on Saturday.
That's my daughter's 5th birthday.
All right, big
You
day.
know, I love this county.
And what time does that get all kicked off?
I think Shakespeare starts about 6, doesn't it?
It will
6 to
be,
8, or?
it will be wrapping right around 8 o'clock,
Wrapping up about 8, so this will start around 8.
about 8:03, hopefully. We'll see.
To be exact.
We'll see how well I do with that.
All right, sounds good. We have a motion and a second on this for the donation. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
All right.
If anybody has any more questions, I can respond to emails or calls, no problem. And I'll
All right,
answer for
all right. Well, we thank you.
Thank you.
When the previous speakers were up, I mentioned about Lauren Carr coming and talking about what we can do with the opioid funds. We have reached out to Ms. Carr several times when some of the things we have invested the opioid funds in to get her, we're like, you know, will this work? You know, and all the things we've done, I think we're in pretty good shape on. But I did mention a few things that she suggested. We will need to be getting an advisory council, more than likely put together on this, because this is gonna last several years. But I didn't have anything to pass out. Basically in the KRS, y'all can look into the KRS about opioid settlement funds. It's basically in KRS 15. If you'd like to look at that yourself. You've probably, if y'all have been to the trainings, you probably learned basically what's in this packet about opioid funds and what it can be used for and what it's not supposed to be used for. So that's all I was just going to share. That she came by, Katie and myself had a real good visit with her. She's very energetic about what she does. She's actually from Western Kentucky. I think Graves County. I think I got that right. But anyway, she is our person at KCON. The ER assist, you remember the two ladies were here last meeting. We still have not got a declaration on that storm from January 5th and 6th. But the flood that we had this weekend, there's already a federal declaration. So we've already been in contact with them to come in and do assessments and get the deal going with that. I've been traveling the roads the last couple of days looking in communications with Todd. Todd's already been in communications with ER Assist, so we'll be ready to get started on that. And I've noticed, and I'll get you guys' opinions, if the rain just filled the ditches with mud and washed the side of the roads so much. The shoulders that we've added with gravel, they're still intact. Now some of them have washed away a little bit, but when it rains 5 inches in one night, that's going to happen. But all in all, we will have cleanup. The lady from Frankfurt was out today. We still have we're still taking limbs when the road department is open for the community, Spencer County residents. We're still taking limbs. We've got a pile, and of course we'll burn that down the road. And the lady was there today, making sure that we had the proper place for the burn pile. So we've got that covered. She did approve today that we could have if dumpsters are needed, if there were homes flooded. Are you all aware of any homes that were flooded?
There was one in my neighborhood that said the basement flooded.
But Yeah, just from too much rain. But as far as a creek getting in anyone's home, there was, but nonetheless,
Both calls, I think.
yeah. We are approved, and we will be getting a dumpster that we can put on this FEMA project for people that, we've got a few things to throw away from Raygill Park. When I say we, it's not necessarily assets of ours, but like the baseball group, they're gonna have some junk to throw away. And, but we can get a dumpster, and we're gonna have a dumpster. So anyone in the community that will need a place, if you would, reach out to my office or to your magistrate, or reach out to the solid waste department and let us know what you got, and we'll make sure we have enough space to help folks if they do have, flooded materials, so forth, from their home. We'll try to help with that. So, does anyone have anything else to share about the
I was
flood?
just seeing if you had an assessment of our park's condition after the flood.
Yeah.
Got that in there.
Yeah, well, the park at Waterford, of course, Plum Creek was down yesterday. You can go in there and look. All the mulch we put in last year, it washed out. The gravel's still in there in good shape. So I was just going to suggest that we get hardwood mulch again, or whatever we put in there, stick that in there. And I think we got that donated last time anyway. So better than paying thousands for that rubber mulch. As far as the new fence we put up, just needs to clean the trash out of it. The, stalks and leaves and everything, it washes.
We got more cleanup than we got damage.
That sums it up, Mike, really well. We've got a lot of cleaning to do, but, I was walking, of course, I didn't have my good shoes on to walk in the mud today, but it's so nasty, it's gonna have to dry up, and if it freezes, it won't be no fun trying to clean that stuff out. So we just need to let it dry up some. But Waterford Park, they need to ride around side by side and for a half a day, and it's all cleaned up, I think.
Yeah.
All right, the Raygill Park is a different story. The only asset that I know that we have that probably got a little damage, but I had one, and you just need to change oil in it. But our old gator was in there. So, the water's about this deep on the old gator. So we need to just check oil, we can service it. The one I had worked just fine, but anyway, it's the old gator of ours.
We're gonna scrape the mud off.
Yeah, they already started, Brian had the pressure washer going today.
So we're today, it's not a whole lot on it either, just about
Yeah,
half inch, 3/4 inch on the lower end of it.
and we've got a lot of mud on the walking track, which, I'll get the broom from the road department. They'd probably take some of that off pretty fair. We've had to scrape the mud off. I mean, the fence fella, pretty sure it was him that was there today. A lot of the fence, especially when it washed this away, if the fence, the straps broke and it went this way, it broke a few straps. Now where the rushing water hit it with the post behind it, there's no straps to break, but it doesn't look like anything is damaged. Looks like we can clean up a bunch of debris and fix it back.
I think the main thing is, the public gotta bear with us. The weather's not gonna cooperate over the next week at least, and just kind of bear with us and steer clear of the parks for a couple, 3 weeks, and give us room to work and time to work. We can get it back in shape.
Yeah, that's good advice. KCO reached out to me, 2 different individuals from KCO yesterday, asking about Mr. Ray, I think, the one that came and talked to us. He called first and was asking about what he got tore up, and I said, well, one part's still underwater, I don't know. The other one, I think we're in good shape, and I told him about our, all our equipment and things that I was aware of, and he said, by all means, anything comes along, let us know. He had another fellow call me after we hung up, and I offered Robert and Andrew and any resource that we have if other counties is in a pinch, we'd be glad to help out. And they had a few needs, and I think Louisville sent some water rescue folks. And I know Chris Lamp went a few years ago when we had those, not the tornadoes, but what was the next, was it the tornadoes? Yeah, Western Kentucky. But, and then Eastern Kentucky, the floods. And the sad part is, a lot of the folks that had those floods 2 or 3 years ago in Eastern Kentucky, they got it again. So, that's why it was so easy to declare a disaster, I'm pretty sure. But nonetheless, I told them whatever we need to do to help out, because if the shoe had turned, they'd be coming to help us. So, but that's kind of where I am on all that. Anyone have any other questions about the flooding? On the zoning, on F, zoning, we don't have any tonight. The sanitation minutes from page 37 are in your book. If you'd like to read those. G, Robert, you're up for mass notification. And I know I guess the ask of numbers is on page 49 in your packets. 48 and 49.
What was we paying a year for what we got?
Our current system,
At
Hyper Reach, we're paying 5,000 something, but then they came back with a new price of, was almost 8,000, wasn't it?
I know it went up, but I was wondering what the initial, it was like 5,000 for the first year or something?
Yeah, so I spoke to different companies and demoed had a couple demonstrations done, and the one that's in y'all's packet's the one we kind of landed on. It kind of will cover all the options that we need, and it's cheaper than what we were currently paying for.
Now, what are they saying about going up as years go on, or?
They offered a 3-year contract where the price was locked in for 3 years, but I don't think anybody has a pace to do a 3-year contract. They kind of guarantee that the price is pretty much going to stay pretty steady at that 49.95, I think it is.
49.90.
Do you have to have, like, with the Hyper Reach folks have to happen, so it's just kind of the same deal, if it's going to be as good?
There will be, I mean, it's only going to be as good as people signing up for it, unless you get into tornado warnings and Amber alerts and stuff like that, and that stuff goes
So
through.
this is something we need to really work on, trying to get pushed out.
Yeah, and this has a lot more options, and I plan on trying to utilize it a little bit better. We can sign up a lot more departments to utilize it, and it's going to have a lot better social media integration, so we'll be able to integrate all our county Facebook.
So if you make a post on your emergency management page, it'll automatically like go push to this, you can set all that up.
I think the last time we looked at, when we did the Hyper Reach, we put on the water bill too.
That's what I was gonna suggest, that you get with the
And I don't
city
know,
and see if you can add it to the water.
I don't know if that was done, it ever happened.
I don't know if that's something we need to do. I mean, we need to make sure that it gets to everybody.
You know, this system has a lot more options. I mean, it has a keyword option where, you know, we can push stuff out on our social media that, you know, let's say road closures. They can text road closure to 69310, and it will automatically generate a response of all the road closures that we go in and automatically put in there. So we'll get some keyword use out of it, which is seems to be where everyone's kind of leaning to nowadays, is texting and getting information via text back. Social media integration's good. The iPause stuff, they're going to work with us a little bit better. I think we do have our iPause certification, but we never really moved forward with HyperReach because they never got back with us on anything involving that. So local area alerts and stuff like that we'll be able to push out via iPause, and you won't have to be a subscriber for that. It'll automatically push that information to cell phones that we designate in geographic areas on a map.
My only concern, whenever we got this hyper lock or whatever it's called now, the same thing was talked up, Chris was in there, it was gonna do this, that, and I specifically asked, because I'm just one of the people, I'm not gonna download an app to have something, and there's other people out there like that. And I've never got an alert, other than the alert that everyone in the county gets for tornado watch, flood watch. So, I mean, my only concern, are we spending money for nothing? Because, I mean, y'all have social media. Probably 90% of people that live in the county probably have Facebook. But are that many people gonna download an app and really utilize it? Or would you be money ahead sponsoring Facebook apps or Facebook posts or, I mean,
I look at it like this on that, and I do understand that, but I look at it like this, so the school systems have a thing you can sign up for to get their closure. So it's the same thing.
Well, I didn't sign up for it, and that's my fault, and I should have, but I'm kind of a little bit like Will on that. I get notifications, but I got the iPod stuff like he got. But I think in today's age, in the community, there's a want for this. It may not be specifically me and you, but I think the want is there. And I think we're not going to spend any more money per year than what we spent last year. I'd be willing to give it another year's run at this, but I think whoever was in charge of really putting this out
That needs to be better done.
dropped the ball last time.
And I agree, we definitely need to do a
That
better job.
that wasn't on you, I just.
No,
But I think if we do this, we're really gonna have to think about it like launching a campaign, social media, the water bill, Facebook videos that you're saying, hey, sign up for this,
I will say, in the last few months, our social media presence has drastically improved, which seems to have made a big difference on some of these weather events since January when all this stuff. So I think if we really, really push it with our social media stuff and get it out of the water bills, we could probably get a lot better participation. And we're probably going to get a lot better use out of this system because we're going to kind of push it with the sheriff's office using it and, the fire department being able to utilize it maybe. I mean, but we need to have more users than just me.
Well, and so that's why I said, like, we need to get like an organized campaign. Andrew's on board, Nathan Nation's on board, you're on board, the judge is on board. And if everybody puts out something once a week, and just, y'all get together, put a schedule together, say, well, this is my week, I'm gonna put out a video or something pushing this or whatever, and utilize because what I want to do is I want to give this a run. This is me, just my opinion. We'll give us a run for another year, but we push the hell out of it. And if we really get a good subscribership and we start seeing results, then this time next year, okay, do we want to do it? But if we can't get people to buy into it and we've exhausted every option and really say that we put our best foot forward on this, trying to get people to sign up, then we won't spend no more money on it.
Yeah, and I feel like this system is a little bit more customer friendly, I guess you would say. And it's definitely more emergency service utilization friendly than our current system.
Is there a way to track how many people subscribe to it?
is there a way to do that with what we currently have that you know of?
I get emails every time a notification goes out and it tells me how many people it sent notifications to.
You know roughly how many that was the last time we sent something?
1,100 something. So
Saturday morning, I took my Valentine to a antique mall in Franklin, Kentucky. We were driving into the rain, and this phone went berserk. All the warnings, just one after the other. Saturday night, when I was home, I don't think it was going crazy. But we was having all the same problems. I got something from Woodford County. I don't know what it was.
And that all depends on the type of water emergency stuff that's set up. iPaws we don't have it set up for certain regular flooding emergencies.
How do we set it up and maybe get the same thing happening without paying this money? I mean, in Bowling Green, did they pay the money?
Well, they're utilizing a system that is using iPaws as you're driving to those areas. That phone knows where it's at, and it's pushing those iPaws alerts out as you're as you're driving through those areas.
I mean, what's it cost us to have that?
That's what this is.
This is what is integrated into
That's
this.
what this is?
Yes.
But we might not have had our stuff, I think we said,
So
we might not
we
have
didn't
had
have it
our,
last
we might not
year.
have had our parameters set up exactly to match the same.
I mean, I've got on my phone, I pull it up on my phone, it goes off all night. I got the microreach app, I downloaded it, and I got alerts. Well, there's all the alerts, and I've got.
I mean, I know I got a ton of alerts during the entire flood event.
I mean, my parents have a phone like this, and
Well, and plus
they
it's
don't,
also,
they don't know about apps.
when you sign up for it, it literally asks you what you want to be notified of.
Yeah.
If you don't mark all those parameters, it's pushing the alerts out there. You're not gonna get
That's
it.
why I'm saying,
The one we
maybe
got is
you need to put out a video saying, here's what's gonna happen, it's gonna ask you to do this, you check. So, I'm in favor of this, but we're gonna have to really push this.
Yeah.
And I wanna give it one more year, but it's gonna fall, if it fails, I almost feel like it's gonna be our fault for not, we're gonna be negligent for not letting everybody know.
I mean, he's wanting, and that's something we can look at, but that's something that's gonna cost us for sure.
But I wanna.
If you want, I think there's systems out there that we can do that's gonna be automatically, okay, there's an alert and get pushed out. Not that, but there's something out there at all, may cost more money to get out. Say we get up in the $6,000, $8,000 range, and we ask for double this.
I mean, why doesn't the National Weather Service make something go to the phone and you maybe have to opt out of it instead of opt into it?
That would be a National Weather Service.
Well, I don't disagree. Jim and myself was at a mesonet from West Kentucky University, and Spencer County is going to get one of those hopefully this year.
Yeah, we currently have no mesonet
Yeah.
stations in our county.
They're gonna put one up at Wakefield if everything goes as planned. But those, do they not have a service that, for example, the guy that was teaching the class said, and he's from West Kentucky, when that tornado system went through West Kentucky, those mezzanets that they had around, the tornadoes hitting this one. Out of Paducah, the National Weather Service is reading what these mezzanets are saying. So they're measuring 200-mile-an-hour wind at this one, and they know exactly where it is, so it's easy to say a tornado is right there. So the next town up, they declared a tornado emergency immediately. And I mean, still a lot of people died, but that saved lives.
And those are all National Weather Service responsibility to activate those things. Now, this system integrates with the National Weather Service system, so it's all integrated into that.
Yeah, but surely that hyperlink is integrated with National Weather too.
I will say that some of the other systems I demoed did half of this and were twice and 3 times more than what the system was.
I'll make a motion that we contract with Inspiron Logistics for the quoted price of, was it $4,990
For 1 year.
for 1 year.
And I'd like to point out too, before we make this vote, like the tornado one, if we put to get that fixed, I think it's gonna cost us about $13,000 to $15,000 to get all those up and ready and work on.
Everybody would know it though.
I don't disagree with it, but that's only good if you're outside too. This is a cheaper alternative.
All our current tornado sirens are operational.
Yeah, we got them all, they're all up and going right
I think
now.
they're powered by battery, and they got one shot.
All but 3. 3 of them, the 3 in the city are all powered by electric with battery backup. All the others are battery only.
But they're all working.
They're
So
all
if the
operational.
tire was out and a tornado hit, they would work until the batteries went dead.
Yeah, we're gonna get 1 or 2 cycles out of the siren going off and then.
I'll second Mike's motion.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor and a second to do a 1-year deal with the Inspiring Logistics for $49.90. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
When will this come into effect? When's hyperlink contract over? Is it already over?
It's supposed to be over sometime this month.
All right, so this will pretty well fall in place.
Yeah, but it's gonna take a couple weeks to get this everything's set up, and then we get the site set up and all that stuff.
I guess, and Andrew, I didn't hear you speak up, but I assume y'all are on board with this.
I mean, this is gonna be used by them, by
We
the fire
discussed this
department,
once
and
before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The road department would have access.
Well, the fire department, we don't know whether they're gonna use it or not.
So I was trying to remember what Shelby County had,
They can
'cause I still
Right.
get texts from
I
Shelby.
mean, you
They're gonna, I mean, we're gonna have a class, and we're gonna set it up for them to use it based on what they feel like they need to utilize it for.
At the end
I just
of
didn't think there was any kind of commitment.
March,
No.
at the end of March, when you come back for our end of March meeting, would you care to come back and just provide a little bit of report of who you got on board? This is kind of like our plan for pushing it, this is what we got going on. Then that way we can just kind of,
If we gotta spend money to push it, what that budget would look like, that's what I'm thinking.
you know, like say, if you want to put it out in the paper or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that the water company is gonna charge us a little piece of paper inside the water bill.
I got a suggestion, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
I don't know if you, how many city meetings you've attended. It would be good maybe if you could present to them what we're doing and ask them to assist. And I'll be happy. I know they're meeting tomorrow night, I think. Does that sound right, Dan? If you can't make it tomorrow night, we'll.
I don't think they're gonna, snow will be hitting out that kind of stuff.
Well, that's right. But let's make an effort to approach the city and inform them what we're doing. And I think they will see a benefit in assisting us, whether it be free advertising, or maybe they may choose to cover some of this cost.
I mean, but, you know, Taylorsville PD can utilize it, the water company can utilize it, you know. So that's what's, at the end of March, if you don't care, just come back, this is all the people that I got signed on, this is the plan, we have to pushing it. We've got like a rotation of people putting out videos, and then that way we kind of keep track of how we're going.
I think if we do it a little bit better this time, I think we'll get a little bit more bang for our buck.
And that's what I'm saying, let's just make a point to do it better.
That's the point.
Don't just rely on Facebook, because I can tell you right now, I never, if I don't look for it, I never see anything from Spencer County EMS, because everything else.
I see y'all stuff all the time.
Yeah.
We got emergency management page, we got EMS page.
I see the
We're
weird,
actually.
you gotta up your Facebook game, man.
I get it. Thousand things.
Well, the bottom point is, there's still several.
Dan, me and you
still
get
got
together.
There's still got a lot of other folks that, you know,
I
this is
see.
kind of where this is getting aimed at too.
We'll do a test. If Dan sees it on his Facebook, we'll consider it successful.
Well, I'll send it directly. I'll start tagging you.
You know,
Does it come in a text message, or how do you get what you're talking about? 'Cause I've never seen it.
It'll come through a text message, and then it'll automatically post to social media accounts and all that.
They'll call you too. right?
Yeah, you set it all good.
Did you know they have a Shelby County?
I think they're using a system that's called Rain Alert.
Because I still get the alert from Shelby County, the text.
And that was like a $12,000 setup.
all right. Well, thank you, Robert. Do you have anything else?
Y'all got anything else concerning all the, it's been a busy couple months, so
Make sure that woman shelter's ready.
it's always rain.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
All right, thank you, Robert, and appreciate you, extra work like yesterday. You know, we were all getting together, there was fear that the creek might reach the flood wall. So we all got together and looked it over, and,
You got within, what, 4 feet of it or something?
well, it's probably more than that. We was in good shape.
And I'd like to give a public shout out to Dwayne Humes and all those guys on the flood wall commission that worked all through the night pumping the water out of the city.
Yeah.
Did a good job.
Yeah, and, you know, if you looked at those, and then I'm gonna try to move on, if you looked at those, if you're on, I don't know if you saw them, Dan, they were on Facebook, but they were, the drones of the city. I mean, you look at the creek up here, and then here's somebody's house, you know, flood wall. So, I mean, that flood wall was built 49, 50-ish, and no one in town has to have flood insurance because of that flood wall. It's real cheap paying your flood wall tax versus flood insurance. So, anyway, all right, we're gonna move on.
Did we vote?
Did we vote? We did. All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
I got lost.
Well, it's easy. The, under H, the flex funds, option on page 53, The consideration here is, do we want to give the money to the state to blacktop roads, or do we want to blacktop our own roads?
Blacktop our own roads.
So I'll entertain a motion to that effect, and then I will notify the state.
Make a motion, I'll say.
Motion to use the flex funds for county roads.
Second. I have a motion by Jim and seconded by Zach to utilize the approximate $159,104 to blacktop our county roads. This is the flex funds for Spencer County. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now, I want to challenge you 5 folks, get your road list together.
That won't be a problem.
So, anyway, get your road list together and we'll bring them in and we'll,
Washburn Lane.
Yeah?
I think I've heard that before.
it's one of the best. I tell you, I'm proud of what we've done to our roads in a couple of years. We've got some bad places, and I traveled a bunch of them yesterday. But anyhow, but we've got a lot of decent roads. And,
Tell you that road you live on, I came across it yesterday, coming from
that's rough.
Georgetown.
Parts of it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually a lot better since we fixed some of it last fall. But,
Isn't the meeting this week on the 55, 155?
yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Thursday.
Thursday night. Yes, yeah. And of course, anyone driving 155 sees the signs, but thank you for bringing that up.
And the text I got, the elected officials meet at 4:15 to 5:15, that would be us, and then the public starts at 5:30, so
Okay.
we need to be there at
And I
4:15.
think, still, it sounds like there's a lot of people asking like, what's that about? So, mainly what you need to know is that they're talking about widening 55 between areas like Crickets and Hatmakers, if I understand it correctly.
Normandy Road
Or Normandy Road and
to the Jefferson County
and
line.
going towards Jefferson County. So if that's something that, if you're listening, that interests you, and you want to attend that, that'd be Thursday night.
That's not action, but.
We would just be attending as citizens, basically.
Yeah, but it's not a citizen, they've asked us specifically to come for citizens portion.
At 4:15.
So we're have
We
to
should have
have
sent some guidance.
We have to have an
We
agenda.
have to put a special meeting together for that.
We won't be making that
They should have sent guidance on that. I will get that fixed up.
That'll be okay. We're not making, we're just there for
We'll just
information.
make a special meeting.
We can't meet in his office for more than 4 of us, I mean,
Right.
and all of us come over to that.
So, but anyhow, we will take care of that, so we are covered.
Go over and make a bologna sandwich from, so.
Make a,
You fix some long sandwiches?
As according to a training I just recently attended, I think it'll be okay.
If it's training or something, then, yeah, it's okay, because if all of us signed up for the same
training, we're
Training.
there.
That's
We're there.
training, but,
It's not
where's the same training, this is the information about a road that's getting ready to be updated.
That's
That's
right.
our information.
Well, they specifically said the training outages, as long as you're there for informational purposes and the court is not there for the intent to make any decisions on anything or to entice somebody to vote a certain way on something that you know.
Well, we'll take care of it.
That's DLG approved training.
Let them take it up with us, right?
Yeah, we'll take care of it. All right,
And
next
split.
is,
The
the Silo Farms Final Roads Adoption. This would just be a first reading. It's on page 55. The way it's written up here, give them first reading and approval on February 17th, and then we'll do a second reading at the next meeting. Well,
Oh, no, we just had it because we didn't know if Bob was on board with it.
right, and if you look at the, and it's an ordinance, so I'll give the,
Yeah.
I was just passing that out, not in.
okay, all right, not part of this.
I didn't interrupt.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, it's not part of it.
Yeah.
All right. So, where we were short last time was we wanted to get some more info, and I'll read a general since we're supposed to. Basically what it says, it's related to the adoption of 3 roads in the Spencer County road system. Second paragraph, they have been inspected by county engineering firm and are found to meet current road specs. And it's Reagan Drive, .352 of a mile, Ford Court, .0598 of a mile, Bush Court, .085 of a mile. And these all lie within Silo Farms, over in, is that in your district, Mike? In Mike's?
And the way I understand this is the last of that front section of Silo Farms. Right.
Yes.
Not the back section.
You're right.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, this will be, I'll entertain a motion to approve the first reading of this ordinance number 18.
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Second, motion by Mike, seconded by Will, just to approve the first reading of this ordinance number 18, adopting the 3 roads, Reagan, Ford, and Bush into the county road system. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, next is Corey.
Passed around the draft of an ordinance. It's kind of revamping, repealing certain sections of the abatement ordinances. It's 2017, number 4, and 2021's 14, or we have that flipped. Essentially, the problem that's existed and kind of remained with abatement of nuisances is that there's really no teeth to the ordinance as they currently exist. So this is to provide some teeth that's based on a couple other counties that I was researching, and it outlines procedures and processes for not only liens, if the county goes about abating nuisances, but also penalty provisions in terms of civil and criminal penalties for those that violate it. So,
Is there anything in here, like we talked about before, that says this isn't done in 30 days, this happens, you point me to a page, or you're not 100%?
Will you have this on our next meeting?
Yeah, this was just for y'all to review. It's not the first reading now. Yeah.
Okay.
But
And Corey, I know me and you talked, and I spoke with Julie and them when we were at planning and zoning. Are you putting any verbiage in here, because we talked with Julie and them, or I talked to them, was kind of hopeful there would be some verbiage laid out in here as far as an exact procedure, is which, you know, if a complaint comes forward, this is how we're going to take the complaint, the steps that they would take to investigate said complaint and then move forward to you. Is that laid out in here?
yeah, page 6, it talks about complaints. A citizen can make a complaint to the code enforcement officer, provided that it's made in writing on the form provided by code enforcement officer, which the form would be approved by fiscal court purposes, and that shall identify the complainant. And then code enforcement officer or any other county employee designated by the judge executive would be the one to investigate it, and then process kind of spelled out from there in terms of notice to abate, service of the notice, and then fiscal court takes action on it. And then the process from that point, if fiscal court takes action, placing the lien on the property and how to go about collecting on that lien for the work that the county has to do.
I'll read through it. I see that you got, I just wanted to lay it out so there wasn't any questions moving forward, like while we was doing this.
Yeah.
That way people know exactly what the process is, what the timelines are, so that way we can just follow this and everybody gets treated fairly.
So we'll have our first reading next meeting, and a whole nother meeting to make corrections, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to get it out since it is, it goes on the 13th page. It does keep a lot of the definitions from the previous ordinances from Spencer County, and also adds a few others from other counties, like I said, but wanted to get that copy out to you all for you to review and have plenty of time to digest it and bring any suggestions or changes for.
I thought you'd have to do it this quick.
Hey, well, I know it's been a problem. I know, and I know code enforcement. It's been frustrating. Heard frustrations for them, and I agree. I know we spent a considerable amount of time back in the fall of last year sending out notices and met with the judge in terms of sending out notices. One thing I would recommend moving forward too, and obviously there'll be much more discussion, is just including at least a small line item for any abatement that the county would need to do in future budget years. Therefore, this budget year is going to be over. We're gonna be looking towards the next budget here in the next couple months, so that's just something to keep in mind, as we continue to progress and hopefully abate some of the problem areas.
So this all came about because there was just some frustration on Corey's office's end and planning and zoning's end as far as just being able to streamline these things. And it wasn't really, there were some things that was missing in the code. He had things missing in his code as far as the penalty section. So there was questions there. So this is kind of like a revamp. We're going to repeal the old, is that right? We're going to repeal the old ordinance and insert this one in its place.
Yeah, and again, and if you look at the third whereas clause on the first page, it kind of references which ordinances primarily that we're dealing with for abatement. You'll notice that a lot of the definitions from the 2017-07, from that ordinance itself, a lot of the definitions remain in this one. But yeah, it's repealing any inconsistent, just so it's, you don't have to flip around to 3 different ordinances to see what the order is actually trying to address with on.
There's got some criminal penalties in here on this.
Page 12.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this takes care of it. I mean, if we haven't, most people, if their notice is made that something needs to be fixed, you know, they'll fix it, but we do have some problem issues and questions were coming up about enforcement based off our old ordinance, which left us kind of like where we didn't really know which way to go and we wasn't really given direction, and we was questioning whether if we did take a certain direction or action, would we be in violation of the code, or as it currently stands due to omittance of certain details as far as direction that it tells Corey to do in planning and zoning. So I think I'm going to read through it. I encourage everybody to read through it, but I think this is going to be good for us to pass moving forward, especially with all of the new stuff that we're doing as far as distilleries and wineries and breweries and the containers and all these other ordinances that we're implementing. We need to make sure that we're able to, I mean, there's no sense in implementing them if we can't force them. So.
Well, we'll review them and talk about them at our next meeting.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, I didn't, let's, I always, we need to talk about pavilion. I know pavilion is not on the agenda, but let's talk about the pavilion.
All right, I passed out these, it's got the Church of Christ building on the front.
Does everyone have one?
Yeah.
Okay, this building right here is pretty much what the template we used on what we want to build, same size building. This building is 125 feet long, about 85 feet wide, I think. But I talked to Doug White today. He says we can use the blueprints for that building at no cost. We will have to meet with the architect, and I've set up a meeting with the architect this week to go over details to change this building, the Taylorsville Church Christ building, and leave off the interior classrooms and things like that, and the bump outs on this one is on the side with the bump outs on ours, all that, and change all that. He said that would be, we could do that for less than $1,000, and we could have our own set of prints for the building. That's the front building that's completed, the drywall and all that. So we can go that route if we want to. We can have a set of prints. And he said probably, he said, I'll make sure that he gets it pretty quickly. So.
What are you gonna do about, because your original drawing, everything we've been going off of was 80 by 100 and 100 by 120 on the back side, correct?
Right, yeah.
So you're just thinking prints on the front building? making this the front building, is that correct?
Yeah, this would be the front building, the one that's finished inside, it would be 125 by 85, which would be a little bit bigger than what I had, but not much.
That's what this building,
This building's 125 feet long, 85 feet wide.
and then it's 16 or 20 to the eve,
It's 24 feet.
24 to the eve.
But that's, if you, in my little drawings I put together, we have 20-foot eaves to the eaves. I mean, that's one of the changes we can make.
So we can do some small corrections to this for about $1,000 and have a set of plans for the front building.
Yes, we'll have a full-blown set of plans. And then as far as the red stamp on the plans for the building inspector, whoever builds the building, it's a metal structured building. Those stamp plans would come from the building manufacturer, wherever it's manufactured, with a stamped seal with, the building's rated for wind, snow load and all that for Kentucky codes. So,
So you gotta count on whoever builds the building to stamp it.
I mean, but it all passes, this one did.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they're coming at a cost though.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
They're not gonna stamp it for free, but if they're building a building, that's probably included with the cost.
right, well, whoever we get to build a building, they're gonna build a prefabricated structure, comes in pieces.
Right.
And they're gonna put it together. That comes with the stamp, red stamp seal, which building inspector will okay. It's got the footer blueprints with the building. And so all this one's gonna do right here for whatever it is, he said $500–600, I just said less than that. Would be just the interior finishing. It's got the plumbing, it's got the electrical already in it. So,
Are they gonna move all that around still for that $1,000 mark? Cause like
so what he said,
our bathrooms aren't gonna be in the same spot as these probably.
no, they're not. They're not. Yeah, he says, I can I'll meet with him this week with the architect, and I'll take my, whatever drawings that we had here, and sit down, and he'll make all the changes, and he can do it on the computer, because he's got these already. He's the one that provided these for the church. So all he's gotta do is go on his computer, make the changes, boom, and, we got it.
I think it's a good idea, Jim.
Yeah. I've been working on it all the last 2 weeks, so, and I looked at Will's thing here, and again, that's fine.
Or a pretty cheap set of
Yeah.
plans, but it don't compare to $1,000, but.
No. But anyway, like the windows, the windows there, you need to know what size windows, the 4 by 6s, whatever size they are, whether they're gonna be, triple pane, double pane, blah, blah, blah. That, all the detail stuff. And, actually, I've got all that, ready to tell him, but,
You said the electrical was in here, in these plans?
Yeah,
I think it's plumbing.
I think it's plumbing and electrical in there.
There's the plumbing there, but.
Well, it's in there, because this is the church building, and it's got electric in it.
Yeah, I see some drawings, some drywall finishing and stuff, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, this would
I have no
be,
problem with it, I hope we get it done for $1,000, that'd be great, but I just wanna make double sure.
I have concerns, not about this, you got an awesome deal worked out, but just with some of the stuff like the other pictures that you had, which is what I talked to them about, we had like a 20-foot eave and then you had a drop ceiling in it, which doing a red iron building is gonna be a whole lot different, but why do we need a 20-foot ceiling or a 20-foot eave in a building that we're never gonna pull something in that's taller than probably 12'6"? You have a ton of additional costs going that tall. Why can't we drop this building down to 16 feet and have 14-foot doors?
well, I think it's the acoustical part of it, because we got a stage, we'll put a stage in there for concerts, so Mike can come over on Saturday nights and play.
Well, if you got a drop ceiling in it, don't matter how tall the damn building is.
Well, in the church building, I don't know if you've seen the church building,
I have not.
Scott, and I think Dan, I don't know if Mike's been there, look at it. It's got 24-foot sidewalls, okay? And the trusses, the metal trusses go up like this, okay?
Yeah.
And the drop ceiling goes with the metal trusses. They're hung right below the metal trusses, so they're up high, painted black, and it's insulated, it's got sprayed insulation, everything, walls and everything. And then they spray additional insulation above the drop ceiling, which is at that level up there.
You're following the truss, you're not.
It was probably, had it far down, they had to do it to, get the drop ceiling.
What was, on ours, we was looking at 20, right?
To do what?
20 feet
20
to the
foot.
eve.
Correct.
20 feet to the eve, if it.
But then it had a drop ceiling in it, I don't remember what the dimension said, so you're gonna have a 20-foot eve, but then you're gonna drop the ceiling another 4 foot or whatever
No,
it
no,
was.
it'll drop down just enough to get the drop ceiling in underneath the truss.
Yeah, I understand this, I was just talking about the other drawing showed like, I don't remember how many feet drop it said,
It didn't say.
it didn't say.
No, I figured it was just like church.
I mean, as long as you maintain acoustically, as long as you maintain that 18, 19 foot, you're good. The main thing is too, is like, you not only just like for music or aspect of it, but when you have large gatherings in there and everybody's talking, you get that rumble in the crowd, it gives a place for that sound to go, so it's not as loud.
I don't think the building, we're really not building the building so we can pull a semi in there to unload equipment and stuff like that. It's more acoustical place, where, we can have meetings and
Other concerns with,
concerts and things.
with red iron building is finishing it is gonna be more expensive. I hate having a set of plans where the only thing it's good for is red iron, but the cost is hard to say no to, but, I mean, I like a post and beam building, I think it's better built, better quality.
That's a matter of opinion, I guess.
Finishing it is, I mean, there ain't no doubt. it's
Well,
more
these
expensive.
are, this building's all metal studs, metal studs in the walls, there's no wood at all in the building.
That building over at Shelbyville, it's got a real tall ceiling.
But just remember too, so you're talking about the same thing, something to think about, which I'm happy to pick with the $1,000 plans, can't go wrong here, but, remember they built that 6 years ago, Jim? 5 years ago?
The church?
Yeah,
2.
anyway, it's 2 years ago. They built it in 23?
22 or 23, started on 23, probably.
All right, well, and it was 1.3 or 6 million at the time?
1 million for the building.
1 million for the building, and probably enough, we don't know how much the site work was, so.
And I'm getting this information from Doug White, okay, because he built the church, and he's building it out in Shelby, and I've talked to him a couple times a week. And he says, like, on the footers, as far as excavation, he said, you don't have to excavate and fill in all that, what you gotta do. He says, you go in, you dig a 8 foot by 8 foot square where each one of the columns are gonna set. You pack it with rock, and then you pour your concrete footer on up to wherever you want your floor to be, and that's where the superstructure sets on those piers. Then you fill in around that. So it's not gonna be a lot of, as much excavation as as we think it's gonna be.
I think we're 8 foot by 8 foot column, 5 foot out of the ground.
But it'll be out of the ground, but it'll be.
It'll be low.
You won't see
The
it.
ground ain't flat right now.
Well,
It's just like when you dig a footer and you step it down with grade, the low point, and there's a reason on the site plans it's built up that high. The low point, if you're 5 foot off grade, you're pouring an 8 by 8 column 5 foot out of the ground.
yeah,
I
well,
think-
When they give us these plans, there are plans 100%, correct?
That's what he said, yeah.
To give it out to bid, if that's what we choose to
Yeah, oh,
do.
yeah.
This is just another piece of the puzzle. We're not debating the whole building right now. We're just saying, do we want to get these plans?
For a red iron building.
Yes, and I think that,
Well, that's the purpose of this discussion, I mean, I think we're okay to tell Jim to go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, let's look at these plans too. while
What
we're-
you got,
But the ones Will brought.
oh,
Because I had a few questions about, do you want to go ahead and talk about this?
Well, the shell, we did talk in here that we'd get a price for a shell too, that's my memory. And so you can read in the description, that was for all the stone on the front and all the stones on the sides. You had, I think, stone gable in front and down the sides, and insulation for the walls, 2 to 6 walls, insulation in the ceiling. So the shell, stone, walls, insulation, and you see that price at the top there, just a rough figure.
And that was for both buildings?
For both buildings, correct?
And that was it didn't have the height at the eve.
Well, when I talked to him, I told him, I thought we should drop it some for cost wise, but I didn't know we were going for acoustics.
Okay.
It tells you somewhere there.
Here, I remember seeing the dimension. I thought it did.
Yeah, it has the dimensions on there.
But basically, this would be a wood building with wood trusses.
Correct, freestanding 120 foot.
But would they be the tall, or would they be flat on the bottom?
They're priced as a flat truss.
Flat truss.
And the only reason I said that, because I thought in the other things that Jim drew that we were dropping a ceiling, a flat ceiling. So I said, why would we have all that voided space?
Well, it had a 112 pitch on it, but it still stretches over.
I don't remember, but
Well, I mean, it was, I got prices on both those buildings, last year, for Arco Steel buildings. We can buy both steel, the packages for $497,000 delivered. And it was cost $5 a square foot to erect them.
185,000, I think, wasn't it?
What's that?
I thought the price direct was
175 a piece or
185,000.
something.
It was
So it's a couple $119,000.
to erect each one of them, I think it was. It was
That's still
$220,000.
terrace, it's
So
just-
it's 700 to do both of them in metal. And of course, there's gonna be increases since then, of course, but, I talked to the lady, at Arco Steel Buildings, a couple days ago, and she said, all you gotta do is let me know, I'll give you the price on what it is now, for the same package.
So if you're thinking about saving money, you wanna drop it down, that's all good, but it just can't be flat. Like, you wanna make it 16 foot to the eve, you just can't do it flat. That's not gonna be good acoustically, but if you put it where the roof goes up to like 20 foot in the center,
Yeah. So a roof like this is no good.
well, it's no good if it's down low.
Well, even what if it's 16 feet? Does it have to be 20
I would, well,
or
see,
16?
if it was flat, I'd make it 20. I would go
You think the
as high as
sound
my
be
pocketbook
good?
could stand. But if it's at an angle, then you can get away with it being lower because it gives room for that stuff to go. But see, because what it does is that those acoustics will go straight across that flat roof, bounce right off that wall and come back, and then it's just rolling around in the room. But if you put that arch in there, then you can get away with it being lower because it disrupts the straight wavelengths.
And I'll tell you, another thing we did out there at the church building is that we didn't have a drop ceiling in it when we moved in. Okay, it was just spray foam underneath all the metal, the trusses and stuff. And then the first big rain we had while we were having service, you couldn't hear nothing. It was nothing but a roar. So we came back in and put the drop ceiling, sprayed another 6 inches of spray foam, and then put the drop ceiling in right below the trusses.
What material is your drop ceiling?
It's just like this, it's painted,
Like those?
painted black, 4x,
You don't want metal.
2x4s, painted black. Everything's painted black in here, which is good. The ductwork, the main ductwork runs down the center of the building, which is probably 4 feet, like a big flex pipe, and then
Well, I think for that purpose, we almost wouldn't have to put a drop ceiling in it. I mean, you see, it does look good. People spray foam them like they're doing them in houses, but for an industrial look, which I don't really like in a house, but they're spray foaming it and painting it black.
yeah, well,
Really, it looks pretty good.
they spray foamed it and painted it black. But they put the next foam to keep the rain from always.
Now, where I was at Saturday, it was pouring down rain and it was a steel building. Well, they built the one part with wood, but they didn't put a drop ceiling in it. So all the sounds goes all the way to the top. Then they added on to both ends with metal buildings. I didn't step it off, or I didn't have a tape line, but just looking at it, it was probably about 60 feet wide and probably 16 feet to the top max, and then it went up pretty tall. And all it had was that rolled insulation that's probably yay thick that you roll and then they put metal on.
Those 4 foot rolls?
Yeah, if you're inside, the kids would poke a hole in it.
Vinyl back insulation.
Yeah, but the roar, there was no roar, and it's pouring down rain. And,
I'm good with the plans, but the only thing too, like, so if you get down on them Arco buildings, how are they gonna figure putting the stone on the front?
Well, they're,
Or they got,
at the church, it's concrete block right through, textured concrete block on the outside.
like stucco?
It's also that decorative.
Textured block.
Yeah. Oh, actual texture.
Full eight blocks,
Yeah.
it's textured and painted. And then on the inside, well, they set their metal trusses on top of the block, full block of concrete, and then set the studs on top of the block to go on up to the eave on the inside, and then the inside completely drywall to the floor. But on the outside, it's block, and then on the front of the building, it's that granite, stucco, the paint, and then, on the other three sides, the metal coming all the way down, on the metal building.
So do we need a motion for Jim to proceed?
I think, I think we do, but I think we need to make sure that the electrical, we need to make sure we have
It'll be,
the HVAC in there too,
it'll be a
A
complete.
detailed set of plans, and we could just like, away a lot of the change order mess that we had the last time.
Will you get change the price that much, like if you took it down to 16 footing and did the arch in the center instead of the flat roof?
Well, then a
It's not gonna change the price, the height wise that much.
Hell, it ain't.
Well, it will, but, you know, you gotta have your structure, you know, your metal legs that comes up, they gotta be longer, you don't have all the metal on the outside. But it's, you know,
So right now, it's 24-foot sidewalls, and then it's, so I mean, it's 30
Way
something.
over there, yeah.
It's a, what pitch is this for?
112.
So every 12 inches. So
Well,
in the center is,
And it's
the sides are 24 feet.
But I mean, like that's one of our changes, is that we drop the sidewalls to 20 foot.
Yeah, well, we can originally talk about 20 foot, so that's,
So,
yeah, that's one of the changes we'll make here. We'll make it 20 foot.
Because I mean, really, in the church, you all have second floor classrooms or something, which. that's
Why they
not
needed the
where
height.
they're gonna be, and
Sure.
unless we want to go up for office space.
By 20 feet, you
You
still got
know,
room.
we got two
for
offices,
it.
bump outs at the front. And then I'll talk to the architect too about maybe giving us, like 3 options for the farmer's market, porch, pavilion type thing out front. You know, we can throw that on there. You know, however we want to do that.
just whatever you do, don't do a flat.
I had a question on wheels, and so, do they make 100-foot wood trusses?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, 3 spanning truss, on stuff.
Trust.
I wouldn't advise them.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, they make them, I mean,
I
they
tell you
have
what,
2 to 12.
I tell you what, I
2 to
used,
6.
I built a riding arena up there on Sugar Street Road several years ago, and used 100-foot trusses. And we had a 10-inch snow and 2 inches of ice, and it collapsed.
Or they on 4-foot centers.
They were on 5-foot centers.
I don't know, there's one on P Ridge right now, it's been there a long time, they're 120-foot trusses.
But anyway, that's just my,
I'm going to make a motion that that Jim move forward with, get the drawings altered to, what we've discussed tonight, and, come back to us with the new drawings.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Zach, for Jim to proceed with pursuing the drawings for our pavilion building, and then come back when you get them ready.
and I'll just say that if there's anything that I think that y'all need to know before, I'll definitely come back before.
All right,
While we're still in the pavilion thing, before we get away from it, I've been thinking about it, and I think that we ought to go on ahead and start moving forward with the 2 commitments we've already made. So we've got the 1 commitment with building the road, back there from the Sweezy land donation, and we got the commitment of the 300,000 from the, farmer's market, the tobacco settlement money, whatever you want to call it. I think we ought to put those 2 things together and get a road built, and then start getting some estimates on what this is gonna cost, what it's gonna look like, and if we want to start moving it. We got 12 months on the road to have it completed, finished, and 18 months to have this money spent. And from my understanding, we can use that money wherever, and that got necessarily be with the building.
well, it's right, it's on the entire project.
So-
But, and they'll guide us, they'll advise us, they got to execute the document that we approved and
We gonna build
sent
that
to
in
them. Yes, all right, here, let me run my plan, and you all tell me if it's good to you or not. But Won't go in there, of course, it needs to dry up, of course. I need to get to Jamie Brown or someone, I need to get with Wayne Sweezy to lay out where his tile is. Hopefully the road will not be over his tile. That way if you ever have to cut through it, you won't be cutting our road up. All right. And we'll get the topsoil done, we'll roll the fabric out, we'll put the rock down, and we gotta build it all the way to the end of what we donated. Okay, I'm going to have to get with the city, with their engineers, with their clerk, with their public works person, and get them out there to look at the water and sewer line that Beehive is supposed to build. Because right now, the city's rules are that their engineer has to engineer the project. So my plan is, of course, the weather needs to straighten up, but get with all of them and say, hey, we need to get this designed. I need to get the Mr. Sherrard with Beehive there, because the agreement is that he is to pay to get that done.
All right, now's the time to be doing all that stuff.
Well, I agree, I totally agree.
Take an engineer in the ranges.
Well, this is my plan, so we're gonna get started on the road. Now, also, we're gonna have to negotiate with the city, because they annexed that one little piece, and they have ordinances that say you gotta build the road this way. Well, I'm not planning to build the road that way, and they may come put a stop work order on it. And we'll see how it works. But what I'm hoping to do is come to a resolution with the city that states we can build this road, whether they change their ordinances, whatever they do on that one portion. But regardless, there's big hills to climb here. But they're going to be climbable. That's the word. We'll be able to climb these hills. But it's going to take some effort. It's going to take the timing to be right, to make everything come together. And that's what I plan to get it done. What's that?
There ain't no hill for a mountain climber.
Yeah.
Well, my point is that there's a ticking time frame on both of those, no matter what. And
Yeah.
we got
You're
12
right.
months to have this done. And every day that it gets pushed is every day that's just getting closer and closer to not being done.
So I agree. Totally agree.
I mean, it's something we can be going on doing, and my thoughts were that we have a $300,000 pile of money set there that we gotta use for this project. There's your startup for your road, their cost for the rock, or whatever engineering we gotta do, for whatever we gotta get done, has to be paid. It can be pulled out of this money.
Of course, I'm hoping that the city would kind of want to maybe act a little bit on good faith and cooperate with the
Yeah, I have
county.
faith that that'll happen.
And, maybe, there's exemptions, to everything that can be enacted, hopefully they won't fight us too much.
Just, those are the
And I-
conversations we need to.
Everything I just said, I have told them.
Oh,
I was at a meeting and I told them. That's what we're gonna do.
This is something we need to have a conversation with.
Agreed, but, I mean, we need to, who's gonna get it done? That's the
Yeah.
issue.
We'll get it done.
So,
Well, that's why I don't, in my opinion, I know we're all about saving money and this, that, and the other, but my opinion about in-house stuff that he's thinking does not apply. We need to hire somebody, this is what we need to get done, this is what needs to be done, we need it done by this date, and it's done.
Can we use the money for the road out of that $300,000?
The way it works is when we make an expenditure, we send it in, they'll pay us half. Or we can spend $600,000 of the project, send them, they'll cut us a check for $300,000.
The easiest thing for that money would be when we start on the building, spend $600,000 and then send it to us.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the easiest.
I mean,
Well, we've got the money to build the road, we've got them CDs, we've got over $2.5 million, so
2.7 in
so it's not like we
CDs.
don't have the money to do it.
I don't doubt that, my thing is, once again, is, we haven't gotten a complete price of what this is going to cost.
No, I'm talking about the road.
Well,
We can
I'm
pull
just
the
saying,
money.
I'm saying this whole building put on this piece of ground, we don't know what it's gonna cost to get that done. It may cost us $1 million, it may cost us $5 million, we don't know.
It can't cost us $5 million.
But what we do know, it
That costs
can,
more than $1 million.
It won't.
but
Yeah.
it could.
We
But-
won't spend it.
We'll have to scale
That's
it
what I'm
back.
saying, is we don't know, but what we've done, all the obligated ourselves to do, so we're gonna give us $300,000 back, or we gonna spend it.
We're gonna spend it.
Yeah.
We got to spend it.
So anyway, there's a motion
Right.
and a second on the floor.
Yeah,
Is there any?
yeah.
We're discussing, man. We're discussing.
I know, but we're not discussing what the motion was
All
about.
right. All right, any other discussion on the motion that's on the floor? And that is to proceed, let Jim proceed with his plans. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I got one more, I think I got one more little thing here.
I've got a couple more little things.
All right, you go ahead and I'll get mine organized.
I thought we were gonna be here.
All right,
30 more minutes.
this is what I think we should do. All right. And I've asked this before, is that we form a committee, okay, to look into our planning and zoning regulations and see if we need to update or change our planning and zoning regulations because of the sewer plant we bought and the new sewer line that's going in, which is gonna cause a lot of new development. The new 1,700 jobs over Shelby County that's coming in, that's gonna affect Spencer County. And the road improvement on 155. Once that all happens in the next, say, 10 years, it's gonna explode. And we need to have our regulations, planning and zoning regulations, down to a T before that happens, and not be reactive, not be proactive. So I think we need to form a committee of whoever wants to sit on it. Todd, QK4, Judge, one or two of us, planning and zoning, Julie, and whoever else wants to sit on it, and go through their planning and zoning regulations and see what we need to amend or add because of this, all this new development that's going to be coming in. Also, I think we need to have a special meeting with the sanitation district as soon as possible and discuss how much money they're spending, because we're into them for $40,000 right now. They used to say, they're gonna come up and say, well, we need to borrow another 15 or 20 or 30.
Well,
So when's that money gonna start coming in to the money that they're gonna get from those people out there right now is probably gonna be just enough to pay their operating expenses and not enough to pay us back for the loan we've already loaned. So let's not get ourselves too deep in the hole with the sanitation department, sewer district, before we kind of maybe pull the reins in them.
all right. Sometime after 6 tonight, I talked to the chairman of the sanitation district by phone 2 or 3 times. And once we were talking to the local CPA, they have a budget that next meeting they'll be wanting for us to approve. There was a few details tonight. I was going to bring it tonight, but it wasn't exactly ready. And by then we'll be able to include February, because the numbers that he was going to bring to us didn't include January when we made the final payment for the land. So we will have that. And while we were speaking, I am happy to say that they have someone that has kind of taken the reins. I think a part-time person, you correct me if I'm wrong, Corey, and they're getting on top of getting the collections in. The issue that they were having with, they're having an issue with getting ACHs done, but apparently when anyone does so many ACHs at once, it puts a stall on the system, and they didn't know at the time, but now they've overcame that. So just the other day, about half of them, they have them lined up on ACHs. So they will have funding coming in on a pretty regular basis. That's about $13,000 a month, and that does not include hookups. And their expenses are somewhere around $5 a month now that they got rid of that one pump down that they got the issue corrected there. So they had about $7,500. Now they're down to about $5,000 monthly expenses. So it is coming together, and we did get draw number 4 the other day, and so we got that done, and we've made paid some of those expenditures with that. I look for them just as soon as they start getting tap fees, we'll get our money back. Just as soon as they start getting tap fees. And that's not gonna happen till the well straightened up, but anyway. I would say that very possibly we could have all that money back by July 1st. So, but we will still have that meeting. All right.
Scott, I got one thing.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead.
Man, go ahead.
Just take just 2 or 3 minutes, but I talked to, Karen over the Cycle Service got this recycling grant coming up. She's wanting to get some bids on skid steers, and try to see if we can get that paid for with the grant. She's already got one for that 74.8 horsepower Kubota wheel machine. I told her, she was asked about John, I said, she get one through John Deere, and I'm working on getting one through Case. Of course, it's all on the government, price list and this, that, and other. There was a little bit of discussion about tracks versus tires versus pneumatic tires versus solid tires. I'm a tracks guy, it's a lot more stable, and that's what I like. And pretty much, I guess I was going to give Karen a little bit of a direction and make sure we was all on the same page, so all the bids that we got returned were apples to apples. And they don't know what track machine versus wheel machine versus it. So I guess I'm looking for your guys' input of what do you want? Tracks, pneumatic wheels, or solid wheels?
I think, my personal opinion, if it just stayed there all the time, I would say tracks. If that thing runs up and down the road, here, there, everywhere, I would put solid tires on.
I would too.
Just because I've seen them, they'll be down there, then they'll be out here, then they'll be at the park. It doesn't stay.
She was just asking about stability. A lot of times it don't seem like it's very stable when they got a big bale on there or whatever. And I just said, well, tracks would be more stable, but if you think it would be more cost intuitive for us to do the solid, I just want to make sure.
Well, you gotta think about it. If they're getting a 74 horse machine, that machine is gonna be much heavier than what they have right now.
Right.
So that should help the stability for sure.
So you
See,
think
they don't need a machine that big. The machine we got down there is a whole lot smaller than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 62.
it's probably 62?
That's as big as she needs.
And it's probably only 60.
So you think it's solid tires or pneumatic?
Pneumatic tires, aired up tires.
Well, we went
I
through
think
that.
I have a big problem with putting holes in the tire all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
You get foam filled
That's
tires.
what I'm saying, you want solid tire,
Foam filled
Field
tires.
tires.
foam filled tire? Okay.
And then let me ask about a track machine. Are all track machines wider than a tire machine?
Depends on the width of the track.
Well, I mean, but is that kind of a given, that a track machine will be wider than a?
Well, that's really model specific.
Yeah.
You can't say one way or another.
Okay. Because they do not, they
can
can
narrow
be,
track, a skinnier track machine, just like they do a skinnier tire
Right.
machine.
I like the idea of just buying a forklift, unless you spend some money and pour some concrete in there.
but the only forklift you can buy has to have solid tires.
Well, I say we probably pour some concrete around there.
They are rough on solid, they're rough on concrete.
Huh?
They are rough on
I think
concrete.
if you can get another skid loader, I mean, that's just another asset to the county, if we have to use it somewhere else one time.
Well,
So she said that that they're gonna use forks with it all the time, and she don't need to bid it out with a bucket, so it's doing the machine only. And they're gonna have one bucket that
I
will keep
think
it.
they should all be bid with a bucket.
Yeah, definitely get it, because you
Well,
see what she's doing.
Well,
now.
she's got a bucket that she's gonna keep.
but if
Then
we
you're gonna
trade,
buy a bigger machine, wider tires. the
So you wanna
bucket's
bid a bucket?
well, if we
It's gonna
trade,
cost $2,500 extra dollars.
Well, we can get bucket and force.
if,
We got forks.
if
Probably like 1,200 pound fork.
Karen and I are going to training this coming week. So there's actually 2 days training. And Miss Evans that works for the state, she will answer the question about what we could do with our old machine. If we can trade it in, or if we could utilize it, yeah. Well, if we can't utilize it, keep it and utilize it. Hopefully it would maybe turn loose where we can utilize it more than there. But if we can do that, then for sure. If we can't do that, then
I would
Well,
go
we'll probably get a
foam
good-
filled tires with a bucket.
Okay, well, that's all I
When you
wanted.
buy a brand new machine, that's gonna be the cheapest.
I just
thing.
wanted a general consensus so we could make apples match apples.
and
What size
I
buckets you want?
think I've shared with you all, I'm aiming
Whatever
when
the standard with that machine, to
When,
go right to the edge of the tires.
animal shelter moves to the new one, the parks department is gonna move into where the animal shelter is. And then those 3 bays the recycling can move to there, and then we can put our cardboard inside the other building, and it'll never be too heavy for our forklift, because,
They get better, more money too.
and they'll, just as soon as she gets a load, they'll bring a semi and load a load of dry cardboard, and it'll be gone. So we'll never have 2 or 3 loads sitting out in the rain, hopefully. That's a goal on that.
All right, sounds like I got that. So I'll take
All right. All right, I'm only gonna pass this to Corey, and I'm sorry for the urgency, but that we found out about a grant from Lowe's.
From who?
Lowe's, Lowe's Home Improvement over like Shelbyville. And this has to be in by tomorrow. And Emma over in my office, I asked her to look it up, and it only started on January 21st, which was nearly a month ago, but I only got it maybe a week ago. I got, someone pointed it out to me. So, but by tomorrow, we basically what she did, I challenged her, I said, see what that grant is about, what you can do with it. I don't think it has any much, and I was gonna let Corey look at it. And basically, one way to do it was get a nonprofit, to nominate a nonprofit, and you could get free money. So the idea was the Spencer County Fast Pitch Softball, which is a nonprofit, if they could be an advocate for this grant, and then we could get, we were going to ask for $200,000 to $300,000 to build some ball fields at Rayville 2.0. And I don't think there's any strings attached other than, yes. And then here's some things that they did do with this money. They spent, there's not enough examples for what they said they spend unless these things cost a whole lot. But they do like $100 million a year or something, or try to. And, but there's just examples of some projects. Y'all can have one of these, y'all can look at it. But anyhow, instead of me telling the softball they can apply for this grant, court needs to say that it's okay to apply for the grant.
I say go for it. If we get grant money.
And that's why I wanted Corey to, if maybe him and Cheryl can stay up till 3 a.m. and read and study that. They call me at 8 a.m. No.
We'll call you at 3:30.
Yeah, that'd be all right. But nonetheless, just advise me by tomorrow sometime that there's no worries with it, and we'll go ahead and submit.
When's the deadline?
Tomorrow night at midnight, or at 11:59. So that's all that is.
I anticipate strings, if we do get money.
Well,
There's nothing in the application process, but there will be strings at that point in time. Oh,
Well,
here are the terms and conditions. It seems like a lot of strings.
We can always turn it down.
We'll take a look.
yeah, just take a gander at it, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, page 4, 5, and 6 had a few. I read through it all. On page 4, it has like submitted a submission, and it tells you a few things. Page 5 down there where it has 2 eyes, grant conditions. You got basically they can come out and shoot a movie and promote, that they gave money to this hometown campaign, community improvement project. I'm sure about anyone that gives you a grant will probably want you to agree to that. And then you have to have a particular amount of liability insurance, which I'm pretty sure everybody, $1 million, Cheryl's a common, and it has those type figures here, so that everyone's covered and their loads be held harmless. But anyway, I wanted to give that, and I guess the best way to do would be if someone would like to make a motion, as long as Corey thinks it's okay, we can apply for this grant. Or we can recommend to the softball to apply for a grant.
Is the farmers market group, are they a nonprofit?
But I ain't got time to talk to them before tomorrow night.
We could get another $200,000 towards.
I mean, do we need to recess to make a phone call?
Well, we need to park down there building.
Well,
We
it just-
need to have probably worse than that pavilion, in my opinion.
Motion to get this grant, or give the softball association permission to proceed with this grant.
Second.
Yeah, upon the attorney's advice that it sounds decent, good, I guess. All right, all right, motion by Zach, seconds all around, Jim and Dan. Any other discussion on this? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we have the invoices, bills, and transfers in our packet.
I didn't see anything.
I know, page 2 of 6, it was a tough month for cattle. See, we had 33 pickups this month. I mean, it was tough weather. And we have been working, Katie's aiming to have a meeting out at Dale Creek, and the bills are down some here, not terrible. $899.85 on that same page. So, let's see if I had some other stuff marked. All right, the backhoe payment, it's on page, there toward the back, we've got it to make. Actually, we've got another one to make too, so. I'm trying to think, see if what else I had marked. But that's all that I had marked, so. Entertain a motion to approve the invoices, bills, and transfers.
So moved.
I got a question about, the change order invoice that we got. Did we ever get any clarification on that?
Which, on that one?
I talked to him today, he said he'd get it to me today before the meeting, he didn't, so we'll get it next meeting.
Yeah. All right, have a motion by Mike, is there a second? Second by Will to approve the invoices, bills, and transfers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
You know,
Motion passes.
I didn't check my emails for that, he said it was an email, he may have emailed it.
He called this afternoon and they talked about something and then they didn't write anything down. All right, I'll entertain a motion at this point to go into executive session. Trying to think which one's the best one. F. Executive session pursuant to KRS 61-810, letter F. Discussions might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of employee. I'll make that motion. There's a second?
Second.
Seconded by Will to go into executive session. Sorry. This is available and amendable. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you everyone for attending tonight. I'm still trying. We got lots of stuff going on. It'll just take a while to talk about it.